No gold is not in her. She's a dime.
What's going on, guys? This is QC Car Guy. Checking in today because we are doing some test drives. So I'm going to take you around. Hopefully we can get some good test drive cars and test drive routes in today. I know I've got one lined up a little bit later that's pretty special and would be checking one off my bucket list. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'll let you know when we get there. Alright guys, we're almost at our first location. We are going to first stop at Fort Mill Ford in Fort Mill, South Carolina. See if we can test drive some Mustangs. I want to get a little bit of a handle on the differences between the GT, the GT Premium, the different years, potentially even an automatic. I know, not great. I should also lead with, today I'm not by any means actually looking to buy a car. I am not in need of a car. I love my ST, and financially it's perfect right now. But you know, one of the things you hear the most from various journalists, so on and so forth, is you can't really get the real feel of a car until you actually drive it. And so I finally decided I have a little bit of time, a little bit of free time. I just need to get out and know what it's like driving other cars. I mean, up until this point in my life, I've exclusively only driven front-wheel drive cars. I need to know. I'm not obviously doing dealership test drives. I'm not going to be doing anything crazy, but I just would like to start to understand what it's like driving other cars. So I have quite a few test drives lined up in the coming days. Try to keep you guys updated as much as I can. But really looking forward to it. So our first stop, Fort Mill Ford. The reason I wanted to stop here is because I saw pretty quickly, just looking around on AutoTrader, this location has a pretty substantial amount of Mustangs on the lot and Focus RSs. Seeing some there. So I'm hoping I can get a good test drive out of today. So we'll figure that out. I'll see how much I can record too. So this is what we're looking at today. Appreciate it. This is a 2017 GT. It is, I don't think it's the track package, but it does have the Brembos in the front, so it might be. It's got the base interior, nothing super special, but it is a gorgeous, ooh, this is new. This trim is new, that's great. Base interior, manual car, of course. Jokes for back seats, of course. But yeah, let's see if we can go take it for a drive. I'm really liking this car. Beautiful interior. Really loving the silver accents here and across the dash. And now let's see what she sounds. Woo! It was at this moment Jordan realized he fucked up. Well, I hate myself. So, I got to drive a brand new 47 miles on it 2017 Mustang GT. Not the premium, but I got to see inside the premium, which was real nice. I had my camera set up, everything was turned on, and I think I double hit the record button during the test drive. So I don't have any of that. But there's some more coming today, so it'll be alright. Just a bit of a fail on my part. That being said, I can actually talk about it now. Do it vlog style. That Ford Mustang, and obviously I'm still very new to this world, but as of right now, that Ford Mustang is one of the nicest cars I've ever driven. So you know, it depends on what demographic of car journalism you look at, other than professional, of course, but like YouTube especially. A lot of people will kind of blast the Mustang for being, you know, too big or too loose or not sporty enough or not muscly enough, so on and so forth. So I come at this from the perspective of someone who is a sports car enthusiast but has never driven them. So you got to keep that in mind when I say that Mustang is easily the best car I've ever driven. So first of all, I've only ever come from front-wheel drive cars, being that I have the Focus ST currently, I had the GTI before this. You can tell instantly the difference in feel while you're accelerating from rear-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. First of all, the way the car squats under acceleration is actually giving you more grip, rather than in this one, where when this car squats during acceleration, you lose all of your traction. That's why you can't accelerate in this car, because you get on it and instantly you're losing the weight over the front wheels, so the wheels start hopping or spinning, and it's just a bad time. So the difference in feel, like, it was immense, because I actually felt like I had grip for once, and that was new. So I love that. The turn-in was great. So this is not bad by any means. As a matter of fact, the steering in this car is one of its strong suits. But the turn-in of that Mustang was just excellent. Maybe it's because of stickier tires. It had Pirelli P0, 255s in the front, 275s in the rear. But it felt, it was a big car. It was obvious that it was a big car, and especially coming from something like this. But you could feel that it was agile, especially in normal or sport steering. In comfort steering, it just kind of felt loosey-goosey, boat-ish. But normal and sport were both really quite good. And you could tell the car had every intention to go where you wanted it to. And I loved that. It felt really quite planted and agile, which I wouldn't have expected from a car that size. Because I will not deny, it's a large car. It's pretty big. But the power, the grip it had, and the brakes really make up for that weight. The Brembos equipped on the 2017-16 Mustangs are really good. Obviously I have no idea how they would react to a lot of wear and tear, like how they dissipate heat. I don't think they were slotted or drilled or anything. But they were large, I think 4-piston Brembo calipers, and they were excellent. They were absolutely excellent. The pedal box was actually large enough for people with big feet. Oh my god, that was so great. The pedal box in this car is this big. So people with, you know, I have size 13 feet. It's hard to heel toe in this car, but the Mustang actually had enough space to where I could be firmly on the brake and then rotate my foot over to the gas rather than just be hovering over the gas the whole time. So heel toe in that car was simple. The clutch was a bit difficult. There was not really any feel to it. It was kind of like figuring out the clutch pickup with, or where it started to bite was kind of a guessing game. I remember thinking the same thing about this car. Maybe that's just an observation on modern Ford performance clutches, or clutch pedals rather. There's just no real connection, I don't think, because I mean you can't feel the bite point at all. And it's obviously, as I've gotten used to this one, it's something I'd be able to get used to in the Mustang, but it's just kind of disappointing that it made it a little bit harder to figure out exactly how to smoothly shift. smoothly shifting intentionally. That car rewards faster shifting, and it felt great. The shift in my ST currently, it's a stock shifter. I haven't done anything to it except for the shift knob. It feels like an absolute rowboat by comparison. It is amazing to me how much more loose and how long this shifter is. And I thought this was relatively tight and compared to the GTI I had before this. It was a 2008. It was sloppy. I knew for a fact that one was sloppy, but I thought this one was really quite good by comparison until I just drove that Mustang. That shifter was so tight and precise. You absolutely know when you're in gear. It felt so satisfying to go through the gears in that car. And then lastly, not to mention the sound of going through the gears in that car. The sound of that Coyote is intoxicating. It just sounded so good. I can't imagine what that would sound like with a modified exhaust, with a catback or a header back would be great. It would be obnoxiously loud, but it would sound incredible. But the sound of the stock Coyote with the stock exhaust was enough for me. It's quiet on the highway, but when you get into it, it sounds incredible. I could tell I'm annoyed at Ford for this, because even in that car there still is a Symposer. I could tell sound was coming from in front of me, and it wasn't natural induction noise, it was definitely being piped in. I wish Ford would stop doing that, especially with their V8s, because it's not necessary. But it was a very good sound. It was a really, really nice sound. The power, the sound in combination is just absolutely intoxicating. It was. I really regret not having brought you guys along for that drive. It felt wonderful. It sounded wonderful. It looked wonderful. The dash looked great, even though it was not a premium model. The dash looked absolutely great. I liked how all the controls felt. The steering wheel was okay, much better than this. It might even have been a little bit smaller than this one. The seating position was outstanding, much lower than in this car, with much more legroom, surprisingly, lengthwise, and the steering wheel telescopes much further this way. So I think I was about here with the steering wheel, which felt just perfect. So yeah, moral of the story, I love me some Mustang. They just made a Mustang fanboy out of me, that's for sure. But the car I'm about to test drive in an hour really might top that. As I said, I have something special coming. This is a bucket list car. One of my all-time favorites. I'm really looking forward to it. And I will catch up with you guys as I'm on my way. Peace.